Hi, I'm Jonathan. This is Inversions Tap Tap. It builds upon the skills from baseline inversions. Baseline inversions focused on holding inversions to build the strength. This video focuses on skill development exercises going into inversions, so learning to tap the walls and enter the upside down with control. So of course we'll focus on the big three, which is headstand, handstand, and forearm stand. And without any further ado, let's begin. So start right away in plank position and using the first few minutes just to warm up the body. And what better way to warm up the body than with some push-ups. So attempt 5 push-ups. You're welcome to have your knees on the ground for this. If you want to do more, but we're just looking for 5. And then once you're done, push back to downward facing dog. I'm just going to step a little away from the wall here. So it is useful to have a wall for practice or some sort of solid surface, not a friend that you'll hit in the head. That wouldn't work very well. Also, a door that opens does not work very well at all. On an inhale, lift your right leg back behind you in the air. And all we're going to do is on the exhale, just lower the foot back down. So make sure you have the space. Again, lift your leg up, lower it down, lift your leg up, lower it down. Lift through the inner thigh as you lift the leg up. And then one more time, leg up, and then lower down, and then just switch. Lift your left leg up, try to keep your leg straight, lift, and lower. So 5 times total, that's 3, lower, go for 4, and then 1 more. Lower your foot, walk your hands back to your feet, come into a standing forward fold, bow over your legs, and then place your hands to your hips, and on an inhale, slowly rise up. Cup the back of your head, point your elbows forward. This is just headstand position. This is hanging out on the beach position. So headstand position, elbows in, and then lean to your left foot. Lift your right leg up on an inhale. Exhale, lower it down. And 5 times total. So inhale up and lower. 3 more. Inhale up and lower. 2 more, and then last one. And we're just building the skills. Inhale, left leg, lower it, again, lower, again, lower, and last 2. The skills that are required, last one, for going up and tapping the wall. Place your hands back to your hips, dive forward, walk your hands forward, downward facing dog, except this time in downward facing dog, lower onto your elbows. Exact same situation. Lift your right leg up, lower it down, lift your right leg up, lower it down, lift your right leg up, lower it down, on repeat. Again, and lower, and last time, and lower. And then switch. Left leg up, lower it down, left leg up, lower it down. 3 more, up, down, up, down, and last one. And then lower your knees on all 4s. Just turn your knees over to one side, reach your arm long, and roll onto your back. Lying on your back, have your legs together, cup the back of your head, and then lift your right leg up, lower it down, and then again, right leg up, lower it down, right leg up, lower it down. If you want more intensity, hover the left leg completely as you do this. Makes it a lot more difficult to talk at the same time. Once you've got 5, switch legs, left leg up, lower it, again up, lower it, up, lower, and again up, lower. Just changing things a little bit here. Lift your right leg up. As it comes down, switch legs, and then switch legs, and switch legs, and switch legs. And then one more time. And then bring both legs down. option to change up your arm position. You can reach your arms up and over like you would with handstand, or you could bring your elbows up above you and either hold the front edge of your mat or just pretend like you're doing a chin-up bar position. And then this time, instead of starting your legs down, start with your legs up and then lower your right heel down, lift your leg. You know where we're going now. 5 times, tap and come up, tap and come up, and tap and come up. Just a couple more. And then once you finish on the right side, go to the left side. So learning to go into and out of the pose is super important with control. So it's not just going up and holding. Eventually that happens, but you have to learn to go in skillfully, mindfully. Next time both legs are up, keep both legs up, and then doing the scissor switch. So lower your right leg, and then as you lift the right leg, lower the left leg, and then just continue this. This can be a great dance move if you ever get invited to a wedding again, or just a Zoom conference call dance party. If you do this, you are winning. Okay, and then finish it up, hug the knees in, and then maybe rock yourself up to a seated position. So it'll work similar to baseline inversions. I'll demonstrate something, set my watch for a minute, give you a chance to actually implement that exercise, and then I'll show the next one. So the first one, we usually start with headstand first just because there's more weight on the neck. Of course, if you're unsure, I'll do the first demo where your back is right up against the wall and you have that safety net. So the requirement here is that you have the capacity to do the poses like we did in baseline inversion. So you have to actually be able to do headstand, handstand, and forearm stand. So headstand, cupping the head, walk the feet in, and then lift up. And then what you're going to do is keep your left leg up, and then just lower your right leg down, and re-lift your leg. And that's all you'll do. Up to 1 minute. Not has to be 1 minute, but as much of the 1 minute as you can. You could even keep your heel to the wall, and then maybe even lower your foot all the way down to tap, and then come back up. Okay, so set yourself up. The minute begins in 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So go up first, have the wall there, and then it's just the right leg that comes down. So the right leg comes down, the foot gets low to the floor. Some of you are flexible enough to actually tap the floor. Others, you may not have that capacity. And then just get as low as you can and then take the leg back up. So more control is not having your lifted leg, the left heel, at the wall. It's actually having it away from the wall so you're steady in your balance. And of course you can do this without being at the wall itself. So hold strong, 20 more seconds. Again, the timer isn't for you to hold the whole time. It's just as guidance, because if you only get like 10 seconds to practice it, you might not get enough time. If I don't have the watch, I'll just continue talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and then no one will continue the video. Last breath, come down, take a rest, whether that's child's pose or just sitting on your heels in Thunderbolt pose, getting ready just to see a second set. It's really just the same thing, nothing fancy. It's just you could use a block. I'll move away from the wall, and you could use a block to then tap if it's a little bit too tough to touch the floor and you want something to tap. So it's going up, vertical, and then I keep the right leg up and then lower the left foot and then tap and then back up. Touching the floor is just a little bit out of my reach, but touching the block is doable. And that's all it is. So you know where we're going. It's just the left leg, this time up and down. Timer begins in 3, 2, 1. Give it a go. When you're pushing down, push down evenly through the entire forearm, from your elbow to your wrist. It is okay if the pinky side of your hand lifts up away from the floor. I prefer that versus digging the pinky down into the floor and then only being on your pinky and your elbow. You have a bit more surface area if you're from your elbow to your wrist, so that direction. And then actively push down with the head as well. Lower your left foot as close to the floor as you can, and then lift your leg back up. If you need to bend the knees a bit, bend the knees. That's a great way to do it. I often think my legs are straight. I feel myself, my knees are bent. So it really just comes down to your own flexibility. Bent knees is going to be more accessible. You can tilt and move your hips better that way. Last 5 seconds, so really just one last breath in. And again, take a rest. The rest can just be sitting to watch the last exercise. I'll just show a different angle of it, but it's just to do the scissor switch in midair. So going into it this direction, coming in, and then going up. And then on this, it's bring one leg down, and then switch in midair. And then this is really taking your dance moves to another level. You're just practicing switching. Again, touching the floor is a little bit out of my league. If you've never tried that before, do it at the wall first. It's a good recipe to roll up and over. If you are rolling over, tuck your chin. Go into a little bit of a somersault like you did as a kid. But timer begins. Set yourself up. It's going to be great. Scissor action with headstand. So Shirshasana 1. Get yourself steady. Bring one leg down. And then as you bring it up, bring your other leg down. And then just switch in midair. And you can think of cutting all of the red tape that is surrounding your life right now that you can get rid of. Get out of here, red tape. We don't need you. If you want it a little bit easier, you can just go one leg at a time, where you go up to headstand, bring your leg down, come up, and then switch legs. You don't have to scissor switch in the middle, but 20 more seconds. Headstand's by far the easier version. We'll do things a little differently with handstand and forearm stand. So last 10 seconds, if you're tapped out, you're tapped out. Nothing wrong with that. Try the video again later after you've built up a bit more strength and see if you can last the whole minute. And then take your rest. Okay, so the next one is similar, except now we're going into handstand. And I'd say 99% of you are going to need the wall. So it's tap because we're looking to tap the wall. And I'll just go with my dominant leg first, which is that my right foot is the hopper and the left foot is the tapper. So how that looks is down dog. I step my right foot in. I'm about a hand distance away from the wall. Lift the left leg. And then all this is to hop up and tap and then come down. So I go up and tap and come down. So it's not this where you go up and then just hold. That's what we did in baseline handstands or inversions. It's just going up, tapping, and coming right back down. Up to a minute of that. Give it a go in 3, 2, 1. The point of doing it for a minute and not just going up and holding is you're practicing hopping into the pose. If you hop into the pose one time in a minute, you learn how to hop one time in a minute. If you practice hopping 20 times, you're learning how to get into the pose 20 times. So it's not fling yourself to the wall, it's try to hop with control, tap your one heel, whatever one is your dominant leg. So I went with my left heel tapping. It might be different for you. Keep your arms straight, hands shoulder width distance apart. Actively push down with your finger pads and your index knuckles. So the index knuckle is where your pointer finger and your hand meet. Pushing your arms straight. Try to land soft when you land on the floor and tap the wall. Hinge at your hips. Last 3 seconds here. And then come down, have a rest. Nicely done. And nothing super fancy, just the second side. The challenging part about the second side is you're less capable. So in this case, it's my right leg going up. I rarely demo with this because it's just a little less good, we'll say. Nicer way of saying bad. But hop, and then see, I didn't even make it on the first one. Oh, man, I failed. I'm a failure. But then, oh, I did that time. I'm a success. I can do it. And then all it is just practicing hop up, hop up, hop up. Okay, so timer begins, and get yourself ready. 1 minute. While you're doing this, you're welcome to take off your ego and check it at the door, because the second side, the side that you're not used to, is terrible. Terrible. And I had the benefit, the fortune about 10 years ago to hurting my knee that I usually use as the foot on the ground one, and I couldn't do any pose in yoga. I had to kind of take a break from yoga for about a month or so, but the only pose I could do was handstand with my non-dominant leg being the hopper and the right foot touching. So I got closer to balance, and you'll see here as you continue to hop up and up that you got a lot of work to go to balance out the body, and you might have to do double the time on a daily basis to start getting closer to even. Last 5 seconds. Way to go. Sweat pouring from the forehead. And then take a rest. Your rest could be child's pose, sitting. You could even stand with your hands to your knees. You might want to just roll out the wrists just to give your wrists a little bit of a break. The final one is where we get the tap tap and then switch legs. So similar to what you did in headstand, a lot more difficult though. You have to be more nimble. So how this one is going to look, I'll start with the stronger leg. So it's the hop, tap, tap, and then I switch legs midair and come down. And then go right back up, tap, tap, and switch legs. And then again, tap, tap, switch. When you get good, you can start moving away from the wall and then just go up, up. Oh, I still tapped there, but you can go up, hold, and then switch. Up, hold, switch. Even when I'm holding and balancing, I bend the elbows a little bit, so try to keep the arms pushing straight. So next minute, give it a go. Tap, tap, switch, and then just keep switching between legs. Try to go controlled so it's not thud, thud, or thud, thud, or tap, and then tap. Try to have it at a relatively even pace. Think of a metronome, just tick, 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 tick. The benefit of this one is that you practice on both sides. So it's even, it's not just always going to your dominant side to win over. Try to land soft when you land on the floor. And again, it's not about holding the position. It's purely a skill exercise, development, getting better at the entrances for the inversions and also coming out of the pose. Okay, calm down, take your rest. Nicely done. That's 6 minutes now, 3 headstand, 3 handstand, and then it's wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, and finally wash, rinse, repeat. So same thing for forearm stand. I like to have a block. You could go interlace fingers, you could go prayer position, you could go forearms parallel with your palms face down, just your choice. My favorite's this. Same idea, just the tap, going with the strong leg first just to get some confidence. So hop and then tap and then come back down. Hop, tap, come back down. I find I don't need as much of a hop and there's more control in forearm stand just because the body's lower to the ground and you have a bit more surface area. So setting up for the first minute, get yourself near the wall. You're going to be a little further away from the wall on this one. And then just practice. Tap and come down. Tap and come down. Again, I know some of you just want to go up and hold, but just come back down. Practice going up and down until it tires you out. And the point being is the more that you tire yourself out, eventually you get to a point where you're just like, I'm tired of always hopping up and down. I'm just going to hold the inversion in the middle of the room for a long period of time because I'm tired of always hopping. It's like, oh wait, I can do it now. That's incredible. 20 more seconds. Again, rest more if you need to rest. There's no one that you're competing with against but yourself. And they're pretty cocky, so be careful. Last 5 seconds, get ready for a little bit of a rest. Again, you could have some water. You could just hold the position if you want as well. And then nothing fancy. You could go a little further away from the wall. This is my less dominant side, so it's the right leg lifts, and then hop up and tap. And I'm further away from the wall, so actually the tap could actually be just to come up and be near the wall. And then again, hop and come right back down. Okay, so second minute in forearm stand, give it a go. You know where we're going. Notice if there's more success in forearm stand because you're lower to the ground than on that second side in handstand. Second side in handstand usually is a great way to lessen someone's ego. Whenever you get confident at your ability for handstand, you do that second side, and it's pretty humbling. With forearm stand, it may be a little bit easier. You're welcome to look where you want. Some look to the horizon in forearm stand. Others look between the elbows. That's kind of where I am, or even the space between the hands and the elbows, somewhere in the middle point on the mat that way. But try to be light, try to be soft, and the final one is not going to be a surprise for anyone. So last 5 seconds here, so maybe 1 or 2 more taps, and then come down, take your break, rest as you need. And it's inversions tap tap, because we're going to do the tap tap exercise again, just like we did in handstand. Maybe a little bit trickier in forearm stand. So it's tap tap and then switch. So just showing that, I am going to be really close to the wall with my hands. And then it's a hop up, tap, tap, and then switch. And then again, hop up, tap, tap, and switch. And continuing that tap, tap, and switch. And then just moving away from the wall, just showing that a bit more as you go up, tap, tap, and then switch. And this is my less strong side, tap, tap, and switch. You can see I fight to hold it a bit more there. So the moving away from the wall is just to show that those of you who can move away from the wall, you may have that capacity. The majority of folks be right up against the wall, and then just practice that. In, out, switch legs. Last minute, give it a go. You're doing great. I'm so proud of you. This is the best I've seen you do. Way to go. Keep it up, hopping up. Try to be light. Stay strong with your arms. Remember when we did forearms downward facing dog, and you just lifted a leg and lowered a leg and lifted a leg and lowered a leg? It was so much easier back then. Those were the good old days, but look how much you've grown. Keep it up. Dig deep. Breathe deep. This is all you got left. We're halfway through this final minute. Take a rest as you need. Keep going. Option to slide a little bit further away from the wall if you consider yourself more intermediate or advanced. And then try and see if you can hold it, stick it for just a second or two, and then consciously choose to switch legs and come down. And then go up, choose to come down. There's a difference between coming down because you fall out of the pose and choosing to come down. And then take a rest, sit down into child's pose. This is the end. So take a moment to just settle, to relax. If you want to do any more inversions, feel free. Go back up, time yourself for your max in headstand, handstand, or forearm stand, whatever you feel like. But keep practicing and keep going upside down. Namaste. Thank you.